we're going to look at converting of length. But remember now, when we use length, we must know in what units we have to measure. So if we have far distances to measure, for example, from Pretoria to Cape Town, we are going to measure in kilometers, how far we're going to travel. Or when we run 100 meters, we are going to use the meters. If it's smaller distances, we are going to use centimeters, or in even smaller ones like on a ruler, we are going to measure in millimeters. Now usually a problem with this measuring and converting is where you get the centimeters. When we convert from a kilometer to a meter, we know we have to divide with 1,000. When we convert from a meter to a millimeter, we are also going to divide with 1,000. But now the problem comes in when we have to convert from meter to centimeter, and that is where the confusing part comes in. It's when we have to divide with 100. Okay, and also the opposite, when we have to convert from millimeters to centimeters, from millimeters to meters, because there's a difference always in these division and multiplication. When do I move the comma? When do I use multiplication, and when do I do division? So we're going to try today to make it easier for you by using a table or columns where we are going to write these units in, and to make it easier for you, I'm going to practice with you some of the conversions to see if you understand it better. Okay, what's important now is we're going to have to know the places that we are going to use in between these units that we are used to using. Although you see the kilometers, meters, centimeters and millimeters, there are also units in between that keeps the space there to know if it's 1,000 or 100 that we have to multiply or divide with. Okay, I think in grade 4 you had a rhyme that you had to know that says, King Henry drinks my dark chocolate milk. Okay, now it sounds difficult, but that's basically the only thing you have to know. Okay, I'm going to put up the columns that you can see here that we are going to use, the table. Okay, and we are going to complete the following: the kilometers, then after that we get hectometers, then we get decameters, then we find the meters, decimeters, centimeters and millimeters. For now it looks very confusing because there's some of them you don't know. We use the kilometers, the meters, the centimeters and the millimeters because that's a unit we are used to using. Okay, now it's easy to remember what order you have to put these in. Okay, and I'm going to give you the sentence again. I'll write it down for you as well, that you can just write from there to complete this table or these columns. Okay, I'm going to start again. The kilometers, so I use the first letter of every word that I make the sentence of, and then that is what you have to write. These other units, the hectometers, decameters and decimeters, you don't have to know the words of. You must just know that is the spaces that it's going to keep in between the units that we are known, or that's known to us and that we are going to use. Okay, I'm just going to go through the sentence again. King Henry drinks my dark chocolate milk. So if you remember that sentence, you'll be able to fit in these units before you start doing the conversions. Now, if you look at the conversions, okay, there's a few rules that we have to keep in mind actually, or just a few questions that we have to ask ourselves if we do the converting of these units. Okay, I'm going to do a few examples for you, and then you'll see that basically we follow the same rules. We ask ourselves the same questions every time, and by knowing what they ask us, where to start with and where to go to, what units we have to convert to, you're going to see that it makes it very easy for us actually to do any conversions. Okay, say for example they give us 130 centimeters. Okay, now the first thing is you ask yourself, what is the unit they ask us or they give us? That's going to be centimeters. So I'm going to move my pen to the centimeter column, and then starting from the back I'm going to write the number. So it's 130, so I start with the units in line with the centimeters, and I'm going to write the number going to the front. Okay, now we have to look at what they're going to ask us. Say for example they ask us to convert it to meters. I'm going to move my pen. I started writing there, moving to the front. They ask us meters, so what I'm going to do, where I see the meter, the M for meter, then I'm going to, at the back of that number, I'm going to put my comma. So if I convert 130 centimeters to meters, I'm going to have 1,3 or 1,30 meters, and that will be my answer. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Okay, the same thing. I'm going to write the numbers they give us, and that we also have to look at the units they gave us and what we have to convert it to. So first of all we have to go to the millimeter column. So at the millimeters we go down, start writing the numbers from the back. So it's going to be 9, 9 and an 8. Okay, they gave us millimeters, and say for example they want to know how many centimeters it's going to be. So we started at the millimeters. Now they want to know how many centimeters it is. So centimeters going down. At the back of that number I'm going to write my comma. So if I have millimeters converted to centimeters, in this case it's going to be 89,9 centimeters. Okay, so if you have a look at where the comma is and the units they ask us to convert it to, you'll see that they must always be in line with each other. So if it's centimeters, the comma must be at the back of the number where it's in the centimeter column.